Hello, my name is Julie. Welcome to my channel. You're watching Treasures Made from Yarn, and in this video we're going to show you how to do this cute little version of the shell stitch. We'll call it the sweet pea stitch. But yeah, so it's all the only slight difference is that instead of a single crochet, they're all double crochets. We put 2 double crochets instead of a single crochet. But anyway, I was also thinking that we're approaching Christmas. I want to adapt this pattern into a Christmas ornament, so we'll get to that in a minute. I'll start by showing you how to basically do this stitch. So this is an ongoing project, so we're going to put that away. Obviously this is a pattern stitch, so you can use any appropriate yarn size or hook size. So in this case I got a G with me, and this is just plain old acrylic, probably size 3 to 4 yarn. I would say closer, yeah, I would say 4. So to make this stitch, you need to make a chain that is dividable by 7. Since I am making a small swatch, we're just going to chain 21. I have 21 stitches, or whatever project you would have a chain dividable by 7. So from the 4th chain from the hook, I'm going to get you in better focus. 1, 2, 3, and 4th chain from hook, we're going to do a double crochet. Now we're going to skip 2 chains. We're going to skip 2. Skip 2. We're going to put 5 double crochets or our shell into that stitch. Okay, now we are going to again, see if you can see, skip 2 chains, and we're going to do a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So we're just going to do a single crochet, and then a single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip 2 stitches and then put 5 single crochet, 5 double crochets for our shell. And we skip 2 chains, 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So we'll do a double crochet and the next stitch do a double crochet, and then here we go, we have 3 stitches at the end. So now at this last one we're going to do only 3 double crochets, so kind of like a half shell. this was our setup, or our foundation, our setup row. The remaining rows are 1 row repeats. So we would chain 3, like when we turn, you chain 3. Counts as a double crochet. And in between, we're going working in between the first and the second double crochet, we're just going to put double crochet. So we're working in between them, not the stitch itself. All right, so that in between, now we got these 2 double crochet. So in between that, we are going to put in our shell or 5 double crochets. There we are. And now we look in our shell. So we're going to count 2 double crochets. So in between the second and the third double crochet, we're going to put a double crochet. And in between the third and the fourth double crochet of our shell, we're going to put another double crochet. Again, we're working between them. That is that. Again, we got our 2 double crochets here. We work our shell or 5 double crochets in between. That. Yeah, 5 double crochets in between the 2 double crochets. One. Again, then we're back at our shell. Again, we would, between the second and the third double crochet of that shell, we put a double crochet. And in between the third and the fourth double crochet, we put another double crochet. And you see, we are at the end. So in between the turn, this chain, there's 3 chains here. That represents the turning chain or a double crochet. So we have like chain 3 or 3 chains and a double crochet. So in between those 2, we will put 3 double crochets. And 3. Have it. Yeah, it will actually be chain 3 in turn. And we repeat that row. Yeah, so that will make our pattern, but I want to incorporate this pattern into this ornament. So there was your pattern if you want to make this into a scarf or whatever pattern you want. But we're going to try to adapt you into this ornament I got. So I'm going to put this aside. I have decided I have some scrap sock yarn here, which I think I'm going to use for that. Keep in mind, I am doing this on the fly. I just had the idea before recording, and now I'm going to do this. So I'm going to look for a much smaller hook appropriate for that. 2mm hook. So I'm going to use a stitch marker because we're going to at least start out and to make the base part of this. I'm going to work in continuous rounds. being that I kind of now needed a number divisible by 7, I'm going to put 7 single crochets into my magic loop here. Well, at this point, I had to voice over at this point because I don't know what I was doing. I was like totally screwed up, and what I was saying didn't make sense. So we are just going to briefly tell you what we did. So what I'm putting in here is at the time was 7 single crochets, but you want to put 8 single crochets into either a magic ring, or you can crochet a couple chains and make a ring that way. So after I have the 8 single crochets in, we increase 8 every stitch, where like the second row would be 2 single crochets in each stitch, and maybe the next row would be an increase of 2 single crochets and then 1 single crochet and so forth. And then you want to do that until you have 56, if I do my math right, 8 times 8 times 7. Yeah, 56. So we want to keep increasing until it is 56 stitches. So, okay. We are going to stop at this point, and then we're going to bring you when it's time to do our pattern stitch. Okay, so same concept, but I switched it up a little bit. I started, well, we started with 8 single crochets into the magic ring, and then increased 8 until I had a number that was divisible by 7, which I have 56. So, and the reason why I started with 8, because that will give me 8 of this, 8 of the shell repeats around, which I think would be a nice looking number. So, like I said, I am doing this on the fly. This is the first time I'm trying this, so I'm thinking we're going to be okay. That is going to, hopefully that will stretch out and go on the bottom. So we will proceed with that. All right, so now we're going to do the pattern that I had showed earlier. All right. Oh, okay. My hook back in. So what I'm going to do is slip stitch into the next stitch, drop a loop, and then we're going to chain 3, because that is like our chain 3 from the beginning. And then the next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. Skip 2, we're going to skip 2 stitches, and we do our shell in the next one. We skip 2, not skip 3, minus, I can't see. Okay. Skip 2 and do our shell. All right, so I am going to repeat this pattern around. Repeat this pattern. So we skip till I should have 8 of these. So like we would skip, okay, so we would skip 2. I'm sorry, we'd skip 2. I'm sorry, we should proceed. Skip 2. Do a single crochet in the next stitch. 1 single crochet. 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Skip 2 single crochets and then do our shell, or 5 double crochets into the next stitch. So I don't. And then we're going to repeat that. Skip 2 and 1 double crochet in the next 2. Skip 2 and shell. So I'm going to repeat that around. We should end with the shell and 2 single crochets before we do that one. Okay, yeah. Just all right. I now finished up with our shell, which is 5 double crochets, and we had 2 at the end, which is perfect in it. We are with our 2 from the beginning. We're going to slip stitch with the chain on top of the chain 3. We're going to slip stitch in between the 2, well, the starting chain and double crochet. And chain 3. That's going to count as a double crochet, and do 4 more double crochets into this space here between the turning chain or the starting chain 3 and the double crochet, kind of like before. We put our shell, oops, 1 2 3, oh come, stop that. All right, let's get going. 4 and like before, we've approached our shell. We go in between the second and the third double crochet of our shell to make a double crochet. The heck, okay, stop that. So third double crochet, and in between the third and the fourth double crochet of the shell, and we put a double crochet. All right, so our repeat then is between the 2 double crochets by itself. We put our shell, it's 5 double crochets, then we put on the shell between the second and the third double crochet of our shell, we put a double crochet, and then between the third and our fourth double crochet of the shell, we put another double crochet. All right, we're going to repeat that pattern around, and I'll be back with you. All right, we have finished. We're at the end of the row. We ended with 2 double crochet, so now we're going to slip stitch with the chain 3, then we're going to slip stitch with the next double crochet, and then we are going to have to, did I not make enough? Yes, we did not make enough. We are supposed to have a 4th, but not, I am short. So we're not going to frog it, we're going to wing it. So we would normally slip stitch in between the second and third. All right, we are, I wish I could tell you which sock yarn this is. We are fraying. Okay. Technical difficulties, okay. Slip stitch in the first one, and then we're going to slip stitch. Okay, if we had 5, we would slip stitch into the second one. And then we're going to slip stitch in between the third and fourth stitch. Chain 3. And that counts as our, I lost count. Hopefully that was 3. And then between the third and the fourth, and we're missing a 5th, but between the third and fourth, do a double crochet. If you want to frog it, I wasn't going to frog that. So again, let's establish pattern between the two. We have our 2 double crochets here. We're going to put our shell, which is our 5 double crochets. Establish, okay, there it is. We, between the 2nd and the 3rd double crochet, we put our double crochet. Between the 3rd and the 4th double crochet, we would put our double crochet. Then we would do our shell in between our 2 double crochets right here. All right, I will repeat this pattern around. Then we're going to go back with you. I finished this row with the shell. So this is like 2 rows. So we're going to repeat these 2 rows. Again, so what we're going to do is, actually we're repeating this row. We're going to repeat that row, the one below, where we slip stitch in between. Yeah, we're just going to slip switch in between the turning, the starting chain 3 and the double crochet. Yeah, we'll just slip stitch in there, chain 3, and do our shell, which in this case is 4 more double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5, our shell in between our 2 double crochets, and then we put our 2 double crochets, 1 in between the 2nd and the 3rd, and 1 between the 3rd and the 4th. All right, I am going to repeat that around, and then we're going to determine how well we're doing in our ornament. All right, we are at the end of the row, and I think we are not going to do any more stitches. No, my tension is kind of loose, and I probably could have gone down a hook size, but if you're like down here yet, like if you, after you do it and you're still kind of not past the middle, you can do another row if you need to, but I think I'm going to do enough and start decreasing around our bulb. And this work could be challenging because now we're working around the bulb, but I think now with what we're going to do might be easier. I'm showing the ending on a, oops, I twisted here. Now we ended on a row where we had ended in 2 double crochets. So slip stitch into the turning chain, slip stitch into the next. We're working in stitches now. Working in stitches because now we're going to do the decrease at top, and we're done with the pattern. And we're just going to start decreasing this in. So I chain 1 and do a single crochet in the second, third, and fourth stitches of our pattern. And then we're going to do a single crochet on top of these two double crochets. Then we're going to skip the first double crochet and then single crochet in the next three double crochets, which is the second, third, and fourth double crochets of our shell. And one single crochet into the next double crochets. Right, I am going to repeat that around and then I'll get back with you. So we are finished doing our double crochets or single crochets around, and we should have, if I do my math right, we should have 40 stitches. So we have 8 repeats, and we did 3 and 2, 5. So we should have 40. And then before we go any further, you might want to make sure I don't want to see the extra tray, but we need to like take care of this. And down here, right, I'm going to sew this, work this in, and be back. All right, we are going to have to work around the bulb now, so we're going to put this in our bulb. We might be able to do a row. I know this can be in the way, so. Okay. All right, so we're going to have to work around the bulb. This could be a slight pain. We are working in continuous rounds. So what we're going to do now is single crochet 2 together, which is putting, and what we do for amigurumi is we put our stitch in the front loop of the next 2 and do our stitch as normal. Being that we had a number that was divisible by 5, we are going to do single crochet in the next 3. 2 and 3. Okay, probably at this point could still leave that out. I think we'll be okay yet. Then our repeat is our decrease. Single crochet 2 together and 1 single crochet in the next 3. All right, we're going to repeat this around, and I probably should have marked my first stitch. I still have my stitch marker, so you know where the first stitch was. So I'm going to repeat that around, and we'll be back with you. Okay, so just so you know, I did the last row with the bulb out, and I got in, but I think we're going to have to keep the bulb in at this point, and I did find stitch marker. Right, so let's see, we got it down to, so we're going to do our decrease again, which is the front 2 stitches for our decrease. And I put my stitch marker back in there. And then 1 single crochet in the next 2. Okay, yep. Our repeat is our decrease over the next 2. And crochet, yep. And 1 single crochet in the next 2. I am going to repeat that around. Be back with you. Alright, so we are starting to see how well that's fitting on there. Then for our, obviously now we're going to decrease. It's a little, yeah, it's a little challenging working around the bulb. Do our decrease. That's our loop, our hook in the front loops of the next 2 stitches, and a single crochet like normal. So this repeat is a decrease and 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And we will repeat. Oh, we will repeat. All right. Then we're going to repeat that around, and I'll be back with you. Okay, I have just finished it up, and I have 16 stitches. I was going to do another row, but I think I'm not going to do. We could do another row of decreases, but I think I'm not going to do that. What we're going to do is just, I'm going to take my stitch marker out. Cut off a decent amount of yarn, like a decent amount. Pull this out. Alright, yeah, I'm just going to put these in the front loops of all the stitches. Kind of like, yep, lightly tug. Just keep sure how much. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna gently, there we go, gently pull that around. Here we go. Now, obviously, it would have been better to use, I think it would have been better. This is usually the problem if you use a multicolored yarn, the pattern might get lost in the colors. Maybe for next reference, you can probably do the single base in a single color, do the pattern in a separate color, and then finish it up in maybe the same color as the base. So yeah, all right, I gotta like tie this in yet, but I think I will do that off camera. So if you'd like the tutorial for either this ornament or doing it with this, or with just the back and forth, or the like the scarf version or blanket version, or whatever you want to make that with. So if you did like this pattern stitch, give this video a like. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you always for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye now.